is the network service of the NTA.
Wow. You won't believe what I am looking at right now in this studio of Weekend Deal. It is a straight out of an aviation magazine model. And who does it better? Ta-da!
Thank you. So you people decided to make me look like a flower in the garden. And I say thank you to you and the director. But please, let me continue doing my thing and fold myself properly.
Okay.
Thank you. We are starting on a very high pitch this morning because we are grateful for the gift of life. Every day is a special day, a special miracle, because if you go through the statistics, you will see that a whole lot of people are not just being diagnosed, they are also dying, not just of the COVID. A whole lot of people are dying of several things. That you and I are alive today is a thing of Thanksgiving. And we will be doing that Thanksgiving and also doing several other things. I know that not too long ago, Aisha, a lot of people complained via social media handle, different social media handle of deductions in their bank. Were you one of them?
I am actually. And it's really, really sad when you look at how people are looking at the bank so that they can save their wealth, and then now they're being actually
Their monies are being taken.
Their money is
you're one of them because you have money. I don't have any money in the bank, so I was not shortchanged in any form. But I know it's not funny when your money, you're supposed to be getting what I call alerts, and you get alarm, and that's deduction. So that would be our thrust for today. We will be looking at bank deductions, services,
hidden charges, loans, and so many others.
Okay, at what point is it legal or at what point is it not legal? And what can you do when you are not sure of what is happening to your money you're supposed to be saving?
With Nigerian banks being the second largest in sub-Saharan Africa after South Africa, and it has a net worth of 39.6 trillion naira, there are bound to be different issues. And this is what our backgrounder today will be looking at: emerging issues.
The Nigerian financial sector comprises of both the money market and the capital market. The money market is where short-term financial instruments are traded, and it is regulated by the central bank, while the capital market is where long-term financial instruments are traded, with the Security and Exchange Commission serving as the apex regulatory body.
In the early 90s, close to let's say 2005, we were just basically using the manual system, which was a little drabby. But now we have entered into the technological system where everything is on internet. You can just be in your house and, transfer millions and thereabouts. And the system now is faster than it was before.
Financial inclusion connotes an increasing access to formal financial services, such as having a bank account and using credit and savings facilities of banks. Following the benefits from financial inclusion, countries are beginning to develop strategies to increase individual access to financial services.
Those who they are giving loan to, like me, I didn't ask for loan, they come to meet me to give me loan and I rejected it. But those who, they said they suffer to get that loan, and when they get the loan, they torment them They'll just will make sure they are watching you, koro to make sure that you even make mistake, you don't pay them. You don't pay them maybe 2 or 3 months before you know it, they are taking over your property or your business. They have sold it off to themselves.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has played major roles in the overall economic development of Nigeria. For instance, the regulation by the Central Bank of Nigeria to the commercial banks to set aside 10% of their profit before tax to finance small and modern-scale enterprises is a vivid example of Central Bank of Nigeria's role.
When you come to ATM charges, you have 20,000, 10,000, 40,000. You click on 4,000, 40,000. You say you don't have. They will take you back to 10,000. You collect 10,000 and you do that 3 times, they charge you. That is fraud, because you can just have taken that 40,000, which you have the option to take it, but they don't want you to do that. They want you taking it one by one and then they charge you. It's fraud. Nobody is looking into that. You go to POS, they will first charge you 250, those POS, 250 naira. Then they will take your money again after they charge you. Those are hidden charges that is uncalled for. Is that all? They will charge you for maintenance. What are they maintaining? They will charge you for maintenance. They will charge you for service charge. They will charge you for stamp duty. What is this? You go to petrol station. Petrol station will say they will charge you 50 naira for using their POS. When they now charge you, even when the government have told them, oh, don't charge anymore. So the charges are all just too much.
Remember, customers can do without the banks, but the banks cannot do without the customers. Therefore, the bank staff should be polite and honest enough to the customers, attending to them promptly and not regarding services rendered as favors done to them.
We don't know that the customers are right. Sometimes, when they see your bank account, you don't need to come to the bank. They arrange you, they come, what do you want? Eye service, everybody, hey. To have come to you. For me to have come to this place, you need to be grateful, because my money that I'm going to spend is paying your bills. Until we start having the orientation that the person who has come to bank with you is paying your bill. The person who has come to buy something from you, you need to be grateful. You need to be thankful.
In a bid to catch up with global development and improve the quality of their service delivery, Nigerian banks have no doubt invested much on technology and have widely adopted electronic and telecommunication networks for delivering a wide range of value-added products and services.
Internet banking is good. They have some other issues in internet banking. There are some banks, like if I say the number, you will know the bank that I'm talking about. I don't want to call the number that they use. You use that number, you transfer money. When you transfer this money, they will not tell you if the person has received the money or not. You now transfer, they will just say it did not go through. In your mind, you believe that it did not go through. Before you know it, you have done 3 transfers for the same transaction. The system is bad.
Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on the banking sector and its services.
All right, when that was going on, Aisha was at the back vibrating and trying to share her experience with me. Aisha, the truth is, I don't know. Do you want to tell her story?
Well, yes, of course. So that I know not only me, other Nigerians.
So when you voice your problem, it's halfway solved, right?
Exactly.
Okay, let's hear.
Every month there is this certain bank that I bank with. Every month I pay for this iCloud charges, and instead of deducting 900,
the exact amount,
they deduct more than that, and sometimes they even deduct twice the amount in a month. At first I was like, they will refund it. It will be refunded. But till date, I've never gotten any refund. And when I complained to my sister, she was like, I should go and lay a complaint. I said, I think I should. But it was when this issue of bank charges came out, and then she was like, I told you should go and do that.
All right, I know you haven't done it because we talked about it earlier, but all the same, I know you're not the only one in that shoes. Ibadan did a good job. I first of all, let me say thank you to Francis for that lovely backgrounder. Let's roll now to Ibadan, get to find out the thing they have put together, their situation, their experience regarding the banks and hidden charges.
Long before civilization, Africans and indeed Nigerians have been transacting businesses with one another through different modes like trade by barter, land deposits, guarantor, and so on. Over time, it shifted from trade by barter form of transacting businesses to cowrie shells as a symbol of legal tender or money, often called oweyo among the Yorubas in the southwestern part of Nigeria. The amount or quantity of these cowries in possession of an individual determines how wealthy such an individual is in the society then, and which are kept in sacks or shallow buried in a big clay pot for safekeep. With modern civilization, Nigeria, like other countries of the world, have moved from cowries to coin and paper form of money ranging from shillings, pence, Nigerian pound, naira, and kobo, which are deposited in banks for safekeep. Money keeping in Nigerian banks has so many benefits like better security, ability to withdraw anytime both day and night with automated teller machine ATM, among others. But with these come attendant challenges that makes most bank users uncomfortable, like the issue of hidden charges like the ATM maintenance fee, stamp duty, SMS fee, among others. Some respondents review their experiences.
To all those big people, they might not really feel the need for all these things, but to a regular Nigerian living day to day, he or she is really going to get affected because all these charges are really too much. They are killing the regular Nigerians. Why is there an ATM maintenance fee, charge fee, SMS fee? Ordinary alert, you will get a fee for receiving alert of your own money. This is too much.
The experience I had so far is them withdrawing excess charges from my account due to the XMS, and then they will tell me it's ATM management charges, and I don't even know what they are managing there. So it's just too much.
Can the hidden bank charges have negative impact on people not patronizing banks, since the amounts they have in their accounts have been depleted through numerous bank charges?
The other day I was on Twitter and a particular bank, I can't remember which exactly, replied someone that accused them of this and said all these charges are coming directly from the government. So if it is true, the government should find a way to stabilize it from their end. Or if it is from the bank, the government should formulate policies binding all these things and restraining them. You can't keep 1,000 naira there and come back after a month. They would have deducted everything. This deduction comes like almost every two days. It's always too much.
I plead with the federal government to look into the matter because it's getting out of hand. So they should just help us to find a way in which they can reduce it and then probably increase our own interest with doing business with the bank.
Financial experts shed more light on significance and impact of hidden charges on account holders and Nigerian economy at large.
Bank account holders are expected to pay some charges. That is where they get their own profits and they use as operating expenses. And when we're talking about bank stamp duty gives a document legal recognition. It is collected by FRRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service. If it is savings and you have money in your account, if you don't collect money more than 2 times in a month, it still attracts interest. When it is savings, and we're talking about bank charges, we're talking about card maintenance fee. It is to maintain the card they have given to you, your ATM card. And at the end of the day, when it expires, you pay for renewal. Then monthly again, you pay for charges. Maintenance charges. I think when you are paying for renewal, that charges should be, should be out of it completely. And there are customers that are complaining. They are complaining that it is multiple charges they are deducting from their accounts.
Respondents are of the opinion that the financial institutions should reduce the numerous fees and charges and increase interest rates of money deposited to encourage keeping money at bank, which is by far the safest way of keeping money.
Nothing beats saving, but when that saving is not coming the way we think or the way you planned it, it's not always funny. But then we should never give up. Save anyhow it is, and when you have issues, complain. But then we have an expert. I told you today we'll be doing a bit of learning. So we've gone all out to get a lecturer who will be teaching us a whole lot of things as to how to operate our bank's account and other things around it. So let me quickly welcome Professor Uche Owaleke, Banking and Finance Department, University of Kefi, and incidentally also the chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, I was going to ask you a question, but before we get to ask the questions and take the answers, let's quickly take a little bit on assessing bank loan and interest. A lot of people complain, including me.
A section of the economy that is saddled to hold financial assets and also invest such assets to create more wealth is the banking sector. The primary aim of this sector is to accept deposits, advances, credit, cash, overdraft, discounting of bills, and granting of credit facilities, popularly referred to as bank loans. Securing a bank loan helps customers to invest into their enterprise with appropriate instrumental repayment plan at specific time, which usually comes with an interest. How accessible and convenient are bank loans in Nigeria?
A lot of factors are taken into consideration before a bank will grant credit to borrowers. One of which is the state of the economy. So you look at, is the economy growing, is it contracting? Because the state economy will affect the capacity of any borrower to pay back. Then you look at the sector where the business operator is that sector expanding or contracting? Then you look at the individual borrower, what the borrower's capacity to borrow, what's the borrower's integrity and willingness to pay back loans. So when you look at all those factors, you have to recognize that in recent times, the economic environment has not been very good or very optimistic. So of course, that implies that banks have to begin to contract their loans they give out to the public.
However, one major problem that discourages customers from taking loans is the issue of interest rates.
Bank loans have been a sore issue in Nigeria, and for that reason, individuals and businesses, especially small and medium, have been shut out of banking for a long time, just for two reasons. One, the prices of that loan, which is interest rate, always very high and exorbitant, and other conditionalities, including strict collaterals. These are the two major issues. As you speak, interest rate, depending on how much you are taking, who is taking, or individual or businesses, calculates to up to 30% all in. The interest, the withdrawal, the drawdown, the management fees, and every other thing. That this is disincentive. So for businesses that are in the real sector, whether manufacturing or agriculture, what type of business will you be doing that you will be paying interest of 30% and still have profit to run that business?
There's so much interest on bank loan, and even to get a bank loan is not easy. And like we that doing a petty trader, is only the microfinance bank that we can have access to. Getting closer to them is not easy because the requirements and the interest rate is always too high.
I don't have yet, but once I open, I will start taking loan because I know what loan is.
Has the COVID-19 pandemic affected bank loans in any way?
The last time we saw consumer loan grow in Nigeria was 2007, 2008, and 2009 before the global financial crisis. Now, consumer loan is next to nothing. The car loan, I speak to car dealers and car importers and everything, and they say one of the reasons why buying new cars or even a good grade of second hand, which we normally call tokumbo here, is because people are not getting money to buy this car. There is no more car loan. You know, so that also flowed into electronics, that flow into some other consumables. Consumer loan is next to nothing. We don't even get it. You know, but what of loan to businesses, which is even more important? Are we seeing that? You know, so all of these are the areas I believe that during this COVID-19, the CBN have started. They were doing something. The federal government are doing something, but we need to expand the cake so that it will go around and reach everybody.
If you look at the macroeconomic data, you actually observe that we've seen some increase in banking credit to the private sector. But the question, you have to disaggregate that to look at which sectors are getting those credits. And you'll observe that the blue chips are the ones getting the credits. The sector that need the credit most are the small and medium scale enterprises.
Whatever type of loan you want to secure, consider first the interest rate and also your credit flow so as to enable you pay back as at when due.
Well, we still have with us in the studio Professor Uche, who is a former head of Department of Banking and Finance of National State University, Kefi, and he's also the chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers. Abuja chapter. Yes. In any country, the banking system, it is said that it is a reflection of the economic health of that country.
Absolutely.
Nigerian banking sector being the second largest in sub-Saharan Africa, how would you rate the health of our economy through our banks?
Thank you, Aisha. I hope I'm correct.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. You have said it, very correctly. And the banking system, of course, is one of the key institutions in the financial system or the financial sector. Of course, in the financial sector, we also have insurance, we also have the pensions, and we also have even the capital markets, money market and capital markets, just as you said in your opening, in your background. But of course, the banking sector is very key, and that's because what the financial system does is what we call financial intermediation. You said I'm a lecturer, so let me financial intermediation.
I'm taking notes.
Yes, simply means mobilizing funds, from savers, getting money from those who wish to save, and then transferring such funds or giving them to those who wish to borrow, who are borrowing. So we say mobilize from surplus unit to deficit unit. That is how an economy grows. You get from savers, you now get from those who are borrowing. Who are those borrowing? They're expected to be those who want to borrow to do business. Not those who are borrowing to consume principally. You borrow, you put it in business. The business will of course grow. You employ people, jobs are created, so there is employment. So that's how financial intermediation works. So it's not only the banks, we also have non-bank financial institutions, some of them to engage in financial intermediation. The capital market is also about financial intermediation. So banks in general, that is their primary function. Traditionally, that is the primary function of a bank, to get deposits from customers and to give out these deposits as loans. But unfortunately in Nigeria, over time, a lot of banks, I should say, have kind of derailed from that primary focus, and some of them now engage in other activities that they find more profitable. Let me also say that we should also recognize that a bank is a business enterprise, and every business enterprise has profit motive. Is that also? So we say for banks, the objectives are: we have profitability. A bank is established to make profit. We have liquidity. A bank is also should also bother about having some money to meet demands by their, those who have deposited money. Okay, and of course you also have the issue of security. And remember, as a customer of a bank, the customer of a bank is that person who has any relationship with the bank. Either you've deposited money or you've gone to borrow money, you're a bank customer. So if you have deposited money, the bank becomes your debtor. The bank is owing you the money you have deposited with it. Okay, so the bank is your debtor. The bank is also your, if you like, your trustee, because the bank is holding things in trust, for you. So these are some of the functions of banks that tend to encourage economic growth, tend to grow the economy. So in Nigeria, the banks have been playing very pivotal role in economic growth. Remember, there was a time in this country that we had so many of them. At one point in time, we had over 89 commercial banks. Okay, and because they were small, they were not in a position to perform this function. If a bank doesn't have enough adequate capital base, what we call capital, okay, a bank's ability to perform is constrained. That was why we had the issue of banking consolidation. When Professor Soludo came as the CBN governor, okay, Soludo thought that we had so many banks in the country, and that if they became stronger, it would be in the interest of the economy. So banks came together, merged, and right now we now have bigger banks. You said the banking industry in Nigeria is the second largest. It is so because of that consolidation. So today we have bigger banks, and many of them are quoted on the stock exchange. Okay, so banks play a very important role in economic growth through, you learned it today, financial intermediation.
All right, financial intermediation. When you're dealing with lecturers, I hope you're writing, because I'm seriously writing. I did mention that we're going to be having a bit of a schooling. I didn't do banking and finance, but I have the opportunity of learning more. But then, coming back to where it concerns me as an ordinary man, I want to know, why is it that I cannot get a loan from the bank? I just want to be as, bare ground as possible. Okay. A lot of people out there want to do one business or the other, but it's apparently not possible because they don't have the cash, and they try to access this loan. It's always like the loan is meant for the big man, and I don't know, is it interest? Is it what's the problem? You could share that with us. You were once a commissioner of finance in Imo State. I know that.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I said something here earlier. I said a bank is a business enterprise. Okay, banks are also established to make profit. So if a bank is, in fact, the major revenue line for any bank, should be the interest they get on the loans they give out. That should be the major revenue line. Okay, the major revenue line shouldn't come from numerous bank charges. No. Okay, it should come from the interest they give out on loan. And that was why the central bank said, once you get any deposit, you must give out at least 65% of that deposit as your loan, as loan. So that is meant to encourage banks to give out loans. Remember what I said, you get deposit, that deposit is not meant to stay with you. You are expected to give out that deposit as loan. So you get a situation where you get 100, let me give an example. You get 1,000 naira as deposit. The central bank is saying that out of that 1,000, okay, 650 naira of that money should go out as loan.
Does that actually happen?
Yes, CBN monitors that. So now to your question, why are people having difficulty accessing loan, especially micro businesses?
Yes.
Okay, well, as I said, before a bank can give you loan, a bank will look at some conditions. Okay, number one, if I remember, it's a loan. It's not money the bank is going to dash you. It is not the bank's money. It is other people's money. People who have deposited money. Is that not so? Yes. So the bank will be after your ability to pay back that loan. So if you come to a bank now and say you want to collect a loan, the bank will look at you and say, what is your capacity to pay back that loan? Okay, the capacity, the bank will look at maybe the type of business you're doing. We'll look at if that business you're doing is bringing in cash flow, the bank will look at your cash flow, how cash is coming into that business. So if that business has prospects, that is a plus for you. The bank will look at your character. We'll try to do a background check on you, whether you are the type that maybe you have a history of taking loan and not paying back. Okay, the bank will also look at your collateral. What is collateral? Collateral is what gives the bank comfort somehow, so that if you default, the bank will have something to fall back on to sell in order to recover the loan it has given you. So the bank will look at a whole number of factors. We call it the 5 C's of lending, of credit. Okay, the 5 C's. Okay. I mentioned collateral.
Collateral.
Yes. I mentioned character. Okay. I mentioned capacity.
Capacity.
Okay. There is also capital, the amount you're taking.
Yes.
The amount you're taking. For example, if I look at your business and you're worth maybe, for example, now 5,000 naira. You can't come. No. Okay. You're worth 5 million or 5 billion. You can't come to the bank and say you need 10 billion. When all that you are worth, if they sell everything, you're worth 5 million, then you can't be asking for 10 million. So the capital you're taking, the bank will look at that. I've mentioned 4 C's now. Is that also?
Yes.
The 5th one is condition. The bank will also, assess the conditions, for the loan. So why are people having difficulty getting loans? They're having difficulty getting loans because, number one, inability to provide collateral, for example. Mm-hmm. Okay, and inability to meet up with some other requirements that the bank, would want to ask them. There is also the issue. You also said it. Part of what also discourages people from going to take loan is the issue of interest rates. Okay, interest rates are high in Nigeria. There's no doubt about that. In fact, there is even what we call effective interest rate. You go to a bank to borrow money. The bank tells you, okay, the rate of interest is maybe 18%. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you discover that there are other things that will go with that rate of interest. Management fee will go with it. Is that not so? Yes. Commitment fee will be attached. Penal fee will be there. Okay, so when you add up all these, plethora of fees, you now end up getting 20-something% interest. So it is no doubt quite high. There's no doubt about it. And the central bank, in my view, is equally concerned about it. That is why you find sometimes the central bank tries to reduce what we call the monetary policy rate. Okay. Again, let me explain this briefly.
Okay.
The monetary policy rate is the rate at which the central bank lends money to other banks. Okay. The monetary policy rate. So if the central bank is lending money to banks at, say, 12%, today it is 12.5%. Okay. Okay, let us add the corridor. The corridor is +2. So if the central bank is lending money to banks at, say, 14.5%, banks are not expected to lend that money
at the same
rate or even lower, because they want to make some profit. So they will have to add their own. So what determines interest rate in Nigeria is partly because of the high monetary policy rate. If monetary policy rate is high, bank interest rate will be high.
All right, let's take a pause on that.
Yes, we'll take a pause on that because we have a report on accessing loans in Nigeria. How easy really is it?
Business sector has always been an essential component of any economy anywhere in the world. For any economy to grow and develop, it must provide an enabling environment for business to flourish.
At the Bank of Industry, what we basically do is we will give loans to small, medium and large enterprises that are registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission to buy equipment or raw materials to start, modernize, improve or resuscitate their businesses. So those loans that we give to those enterprises or companies that are registered are secured by collateral. For loans that are up to 10 million naira, that are secured by 2 guarantors and 10% cash deposit, while loans above 10 million naira are secured with bank guarantee or collateral in the form of a landed property.
In Nigeria, government is carrying out a series of intervention programs through various financial institutions in order to motivate business entrepreneurs in various sectors and at all levels.
The Bank of Industry has a youth-centric project, a program called the Graduate Entrepreneurship Scheme, which is a scheme that gives loans of 2 million naira to couples to start business. However, we use the NYC certificate and 1 guarantor as the security arrangement. Then for graduates, we have a Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, the YES scheme, which gives up to 5 million naira to graduates. However, they will deposit their degree certificate, NYC certificate, and 2 guarantors with the bank in order to access this loan to start a business, modernize their business, or to resuscitate their business.
The slogan, City of Commerce, describes Kano as a melting pot and a beehive of business and commercial activities. However, studies have shown that many businesses, especially small and medium-scale enterprises in Kano, often die 5 years after inception due to infrastructural deficit and lack of access to financial resources.
Entrepreneurs are those people who have talent, people with ingenuity, people with creativity, but they don't necessarily have money. They require the money for them to be able to set up their capital, for them to start and for them to expand their businesses.
In other countries of the world, people access loans from financial institutions at low interest rates and with less protocols to set up or expand businesses. In Nigeria, the reverse is the case.
The interest rate being charged is at all time over 20%, 25%, sometimes even 30%. And that is terribly difficult for an entrepreneur to be able to make a break even, not to talk of even making profit, particularly the fact that we are living in a country with infrastructure deficit.
Observations have shown that apart from high interest rate and other technical impediments, socio-cultural factors also play a role in discouraging many from accessing loan in bank and other financial institutions.
Gaskiya magana ta gaskiya game da banki ba mu taba neman loan ba. Abin da yake faruwa kuwa abin ya shafi kamar yanayin ƙari da ake samu kamar interest kenan. To shine abin da yake hana mu wannan abu ne saboda kana son ka bunkata kasuwancin naka kuma yanayin kasuwa yanzu ba kamar irin da bace.
Most of our people, they're accusing even the loan from the bank because of the interest. Our religion even stops us to collect the interest.
Our culture, okay, in most cases, our religion of Islam prohibits interest, and really of 90% of people, or rather 70% of people in the northern Nigeria and 19 in Kano State, for instance, are Muslim, and they definitely have to shun away from that of interest.
For the business sector to develop and continue to play its vital role in the economy, experts believe a lot needs to be done.
If government wants to promote businesses, government has to expand its spending in the fiscal policy as well as monetary policy stance. This is the issue where they will be able to motivate, okay, give a lot of incentives by virtue of making the infrastructure very friendly for businesses, by ensuring that the doing business is being improved. And government should come up with more programs, more realistic programs that will help business enterprises access the loans. We have Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, we have a lot of interventions in the central bank, a lot of interventions in other programs of the federal government, state government, and indeed the local government. However, the issue is that those interventions rarely reach the real business entrepreneurs. So one of the recommendations is that government should ensure through tight monitoring to make sure that those interventions reach the real entrepreneurs.
We still have a professor in the house, Owaleke, to share experience. We're talking about interest and a loan with the bank, and a lot of people are writing. I'm going to be taking their questions one after the other much more later, but I need you to tell us, why is it that people like me, small, medium scale people, in fact actually very small people, cannot get loan? Why is it always on a high interest?
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the issue of interest. Interest rates charged by banks, no doubt, that is on the high side. And part of why it's on the high side is because of the, if you like, the harsh operating environment that banks find themselves. Okay, so banks incur a lot of costs in staying in business, and naturally they want to transfer those costs to customers. Okay, look at the issue of power, for example. When you have incessant power failure, a lot of banks will now use run on generator. Okay, so if banks are running on generator, and again you look at maybe the cost of diesel, the cost of diesel is high, the generator is also high, all such costs are transferred to the customer. So if we had functional infrastructure, if we had power supply, if banks didn't have to resort to generator, the cost will come down. So even if the central bank is saying we recommend that you charge this, okay, because of those cuts, it's difficult for many banks to bring down interest rate, which is also why the central bank tries to intervene, okay, use its own funds through the banks to ensure that small and medium enterprises get these loans. So instead of coming to take the loans,
Prof, I understand what you're saying, but you see, a lot of times at the end of the year or a period, the banks declare very large amounts of profits, and we also see banks give large amounts of, donations. That's because they are making a lot of money.
Why are you not getting loan as a small enterprise? Part of why many of them don't qualify for loans, to get these loans, is because of the fact that they don't have some of the requirements the banks are asking for. One is, if you're coming to take a loan from the bank will want to look at your books. A lot of these micro businesses don't keep records. That is very, very fundamental. A lot of them don't have, for one-man outfits, okay, like all the, let me say, largely those in the informal sector, the artisans, for example. If you have a vulcanizer or a mechanic or a barber that wants to get loan to grow his business, his or her business, okay, or even the vegetable person in the market that needs loan. If you come to a bank and say you want loan, the bank will say, okay, fine, let me see your records. And many of them don't have records. Many of them don't have addresses. That's why the banks will say, bring your utility bill, bring your a verifiable means of identification. They don't have these things, and which is also what is inhibiting the government's effort, even now in the COVID-19 interventions, because government is saying we have some money, including the central bank, for small businesses, but many of them cannot get because they are not organized. This money is not dash, it's not grant, it is a loan. If the government is saying, okay, I'm giving you a loan, instead of paying high rates, pay 5%, it's a loan that's meant to be repaid after a period of time. Okay, so for you to get that loan, you need to have some form of structure. That's why I advise that small businesses, no matter how small, try to have some records. Try to join an association. If you're a vulcanizer, don't operate alone. Don't stay here today. Tomorrow they see you there. Tomorrow you don't have an address. Nobody can trace you. But if you join an association of vulcanizers in that area, if you join a cooperative society, okay, the banks can say, okay, even if I can't pick you, there is somebody that's standing behind you. You belong to a group. People know you. People can say, this person is an honest person. This person will not run away with the money. That is what a lot of banks are looking for, particularly the microfinance banks. We have microfinance banks, mind you, and we also have the National Microfinance Bank. You know, we have the National Microfinance Bank, the one set up by the Central Bank and the Committee of Bankers. National Microfinance, that is even the one that is disbursing this COVID-19 intervention, 50 billion intervention loans. So for you to qualify, as I said, my advice here today, yes, belong to an association, a cooperative society, and try to have some records you will show the bank that this for the month of something I made this, these are my expenses. Exactly.
All right, so it's interesting. I can't let you go without asking, interacting with our viewers as they're watching. That we have learned that we must document everything we do.
Beautiful.
So even if you're the carousella, write it down.
Yes.
But
if you don't know how to do that, get somebody to assist you to
do it.
Exactly. The banks will want to say that.
Comrade Ngala, Alhaji Ngara from Borno State, just wrote in. He says it is the duty, or is it the duty of the NDIC to regulate the activities of the bank?
Okay, regulatory function of banks is primarily that of the Central Bank of Nigeria. It is Central Bank of Nigeria that regulates, the banks, not the NDIC. NDIC also has a role. NDIC is deposit insurance corporation. What's the primary thing is to come in when a bank is having issues. Okay. Yes, but regulation of banks primarily is the duty of the Central Bank of Nigeria. We have the CBN Act, we have the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act. Okay, all that vest the power to regulate banks with the central bank, not the NDS. But as I said, NDS also has a role to play, particularly when it comes to banking distress.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor, for coming on.
We'll talk about financial inclusion.
No worry, we'll continue the discussion later.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we have been chatting with Professor Uche Waleki,
yes,
who is former head of Banking and Finance Department of Nasarawa State University, KEFI, and also a chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Abuja chapter.
Yes, thank you.
Exactly. So we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, Week and Deal continues. Thanks for staying tuned. I know one thing that is trending on social media. Well, I'll let you take a look at that. But before that, I think we have messages. Do we have
I'm laughing
messages?
because I just saw something that is, this person speaks the mind of a lot of people. He says, I am sick and tired of banking system, and I have come to conclude that I will be saving my money inside my bedroom, so as to avoid heart attack. Good morning to you all in the studio, and kudos, well done. Thank God you didn't put your name and address, because you get visitors. Please, whatever you are doing, try to save your money, and if it's taken without your permission, please ask questions. Sorry to say, every bank activity is so easy for already made person. I imagine I went to First Bank with 22,000 naira to deposit. I filled the form, hold 22,000. When I got there, they told me that my account can't take more than 20,000. I asked him to give me so I can make amendments, and he said I should not worry. When I got home after 2 days, I received 20,000 naira alerts. I went back to the bank and they asked me to go to the court and bring affidavit and others. Can you imagine it? You paid in 22,000 and returning it, it was 20,000. Wow. That's really sad. And good morning, sir. The interest rate for the fixed deposit has dropped badly. What is the government doing to that? And Mr. Patrick is in the bank.
And it's tricky. What's the trick? Let's take a look at trending videos.
the show is fast winding up, but let's take some messages. It is very unfortunate for me to say this here. I paid money into my worker's account at Fidelity Bank since 2007 to help buy livestock as he was traveling to Kano from Auchi. Till now, the balance of 84,000 is still being held by the bank due to some documentation issues. But all the documents they asked for, we have duly submitted. As I write this, my money is still in the worker's account. In such situation, what do? I went to the bank with the worker for them to send the balance back to me, but they have bluntly refused. And somebody here says, good morning. Okay, I am a civil servant. I want to know if since the lockdown there is any relief package from the microfinance bank. Well, I know that Nigerians will like relief package. I don't know about that. But we are asking and talking about bank services. There is no relief loan for us at this point in time. On a very sad note, Aisha, yes. I just ran into a message, and NTA has been scrolling it as well. A collapsed building in Lagos this morning. It's heart touching because particularly a little boy died in there.
Exactly.
I don't know. We should all be up and about in whatever we're doing, and I don't know if these things give sign. I've never been able to see one before it collapsed, but I think we should do revalidation of buildings if they have stayed too long. We should get to revalidate our buildings, and if government has said through the mouths of the experts don't build in a particular space, please don't. Especially in Lagos, some of those places you see sand is actually water. Exactly. And we should take care. The NEMA people are asking us to be careful this period because there's going to be a whole lot of flooding happening around major cities this period. And if your place is shaking, your table is being rocked as we speak. Join us again tomorrow. Aisha?
Yes, join us same time, same station tomorrow for another package on banking services.
All right, my own is whatever you do, stay safe, stay at home if you're not going out, and maintain top hygiene. Bye.